So today we're going to take a look at the new 12.8 volt 200 amp hour REDODO lithium iron phosphate battery. This one has a 100 amp BMS, which is different than this 12.8 volt 200 amp hour plus model, which has a 200 amp BMS. This one is currently tied up and fully charged, sitting in the float position. And we're going to look at the new one that they sent out today. So this one comes in a little bit smaller package. It's a little more compact, which might appeal to some of you. It has 2,560 watt-hour capacity. It's packed full of grade A prismatic lithium iron phosphate cells. Recommended charge current is 40 amps or 0.2 C. And it will take a max continuous charge current of 100 amps, which is also the max continuous discharge current of 100 amps. And it's 8.5 inches wide, which is a little more than an inch less than on the Plus model. So it makes it a little better for fitting into a tight compartment. Of course, it comes with the handles that all of these style of batteries have. These are very handy for moving it around. Very easy to use. Comes with the thread protectors and some M8 terminal bolts, which look like this when they're screwed in. Comes up with a couple of terminal protective caps, and then they threw in an extra set of terminal bolts, and that's always nice to see. And besides that basic hardware, came with a quick reference guide card. Gives you a lot of the just beginner basics for those of you that wouldn't be familiar with a lot of the just very basic information, but that's always a nice thing to have. Quick reference. Came with a very nice Ziploc pouch for that, as well as a product manual, which has a lot more very useful information. Kind of standard. All of their batteries have come with this type of information, which is very useful, and I would recommend you read this from cover to cover. Very easily understood, well written, nice little manual for you. And this has been sitting in the rest position for a couple of weeks now since its arrival. I just unboxed it. It was in pristine condition, and it was sent out with a voltage of 13.23, and that's about how all of these come. They don't come fully charged, so that's what's going to be next. We're going to put this onto a solar system and fully charge it up. And after it's fully charged, like I always do with these batteries, we're going to just continuously use it, make sure everything works right. We'll make sure it charges up correctly, make sure it discharges correctly. Now, the one difference between this and the Plus version with that smaller BMS, you're going to be not able to run as heavy of loads. For example, if you had a regular size coffee maker that they easily draw over 1,000 watts of power, you would want the Plus version as opposed to this that has the 100 amp BMS. But there's a lot you can do with this. It has a 100 amp BMS, and we're going to tie this up and let it run something like a refrigerator or a freezer, which it can easily do. But you'd have to be mindful that with the 100 amp BMS, you're not going to be able to run those super big loads that you can with the 200 amp BMS. This is also priced quite a bit cheaper than the one with the 200 amp BMS, and I think that's what they're trying to promote, is a little bit more affordable, a little more compact unit. Pretty nice. This weighs in at 44.6 pounds. So another very lightweight lithium iron phosphate battery for you to consider. And in a side-by-side comparison with the Plus model there on the right, as you can see, this one has that inch and a half more narrow profile. It's also about an inch shorter in length. And in comparison, side by side to this Big Beast 300 amp hour by the same company, REDODO, you can see much smaller footprint, much lighter, of course. All of these work good. All of these have been in production. Well, these two have been in production since they were sent out. This new one that we're looking at, the 100 amp BMS model, we're about ready to put in there and give it a full charge, and we will put it straight into operation out here and keep you apprised of how it works. I expect nothing less than superb performance. Have had zero issues with any of the batteries they have sent out for review, continuously in use, and they work so well. And I've heard from a lot of you as well over the past many months that have these batteries. I've heard of zero issues. They work well, live up to their specifications, no problem whatsoever. And this battery, like all their others, comes with a 5-year warranty. And here, if we take a look at their website, the one we're looking at right now is this 12 volt 200 amp hour. You can see the 2560 watt hours, exactly the same as the Plus model. And then just a few pounds difference between the Plus and the one we're looking at. And then in comparison to that 300 amp hour, 62.8 pounds. So nearly 20 pounds more than this one. So the main difference between this 12 volt 200 amp hour and the 200 amp hour Plus, all the capacity is the same. It's that right there, 200 amp BMS, 100 amp BMS. So you'd want to take that into consideration. And here, once again, on their website, this is listed for $599, so call it $600. And for the Plus size with the 200 amp BMS, $650. So $50 difference for the difference of 100 amp BMS to a 200 amp BMS. And of course, this could be configured in parallel to keep it a 12 volt system. If you tied your batteries in parallel, it can be tied in series to make a 24 or 48 volt system as well, depending what your needs may be. For my opinion on this is the main thing you'd want to consider would be the size of that BMS. 100 amp BMS will get you most things, will run just absolutely fine. Like I said, just some of those higher drawing appliances, hair dryer, if you would ever consider that, or you know, a large coffee maker, other things with a heating element. 100 amp BMS might not work, but in most situations, 100 amp BMS probably just absolutely fine for you. So this is really going to appeal to a lot of the RVers, the lightweight, the small profile, as well as any other off-grid situations. Sailboats out here are using these, small off-grid cabins, or even just using it as a backup power supply in case you are on the grid and you lose your power. One of these will keep your major things running, like your refrigerator. And just a quick peek into the manual. And this is at resting, So those of you that are not familiar with lithium iron phosphate, the state of charge capacity, 13.5 at rest is a 100% full battery, and so on down the line. A lot of great information in here. Definitely read this book from cover to cover. Gives you a lot of useful information. Won't cover everything in this today, but it's a well-written manual. Well worth looking at it. So let's get this baby charged up. So here it is. We put it into the solar charging station. Super easy. We slid this Plus model out. It was 100% full, sitting in float. Perfect opportunity to pull it out. And now it can just rest. We will use that. And this one is now charging up. 500 watts of solar going into it. And we are actually catching a little solar today. And if you've been following my channel, you know that sunshine has been eluding us for quite a while. So now it shows that it's 100% full. That is not accurate. I will let it get up to 100% full. And this Victron charge controller will get it to there. And then once it is 100% full, I'll reset the values on this battery state of charge monitor. So it is charging right now. And looking at the app on the Victron charge controller, we can see 162 watts coming in there. And that last little bit of graph down there was that other one just sitting in float. So it'll get a new graph started up for this new battery. We can see the voltage off those 500 watts coming in. 72 volts, 12.2 amps. The battery voltage has jumped up to 13.55 under that charge condition right there, 171 watts. And we're going to let this go all the way to float. Might not get there today. Probably more like tomorrow if the solar conditions hang out there for us. And then we'll fire up something. So first step is charge it up all the way. Always do it that way. Do not discharge your battery until you put a nice full charge. Getting a little more sun right now. This is looking good. All right, so that's the new REDODO 12.8 volt, 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. Younger, bolder, and stronger. Been loving these batteries, zero issues. I have not heard of any issues from any of you running them. A lot of you have contacted me and even shared pictures of your systems with these being your primary energy storage batteries. And I've heard nothing but good. So I'd love to hear from you guys that are using these. And if you're considering them, I'll put some links down below in the description for you. Might even be able to save you a few bucks. Yeah, pretty good charging conditions. Drying up. Finally. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Aloha.